All right, guys, Fulu coming to you with a quick video. I just want to give you some book updates. As I said in many videos, that when it comes to where I get information from and whatnot, and where I get some of my, just ideas and just certain words that stick with me or resonate with me, or certain quotes that stick or resonate with me, I get them from books most of the time. Now, granted, I have quite a few books, and of course, you're like, one of the most difficult things is juggling between the books, because obviously you want to read them all. And sometimes you just feel an obligation that, okay, I got to read this book. And, you feel like, okay, I want to finish it and what have you. You always feel like that. I just pulled out a couple of titles that are new to my collection. The thing is that I find that with books like with history, and there are some books that are, I guess you can say, they're not self-help books, but they're books that are like personal development books. Those books are cool, but I don't like to read them too much. I prefer books that have to do with, history and real life events that, can resonate with certain things that are going on right now and what have you, and just give you a better idea of like why people act the way they act, certain parts. So I'll give you an example. This book right here is called 2 Weeks in the Trenches, and it's about the independence struggle in Eritrea. I've read multiple books on the Eritrean civil war, and this is no disrespect, but when you read more into these books, you find out why, for example, why certain, and this is no stereotype, but you kind of understand like why Ethiopians act the way they act. No disrespect, but very much so. Ethiopia was a small place, in Africa, and it just had an expansionist mindset, which, devoured places such as Somalia and Djibouti. And although, like, granted, the people have the similar features, they are like distinct people in terms of tribe and in terms of language. But what Ethiopia wanted to do was just kind of consolidate that all into like one group with very few languages, So reading this, you get to see what actually took place and what was actually endured in order to have sovereignty. In this book, everybody knows I'm a fan of the Grenadian Revolution. Everybody knows I F heavy with Maurice Bishop. You know what I mean? He's one of my guys. He's one of the guys I look towards for, basically how to, just do something. Just do something out of the norm that was not known to be done. Because when you look at the Grenadian Revolution, it was the only Anglo-speaking Caribbean country to do what it was attempting to do. So with this book, you get a better idea of like what actually happened and what actually kept the rebel from reaching its full potential. It's unfortunate that it did happen the way it happened, because I think, granted, if it succeeded in the way it was supposed to succeed, then we would be talking about, it would be talked about in a different way, So I try to get this account of it, and hopefully this account will be like as balanced as possible, and it won't lean too far to one side. Because I truly believe with the Grenadian Revolution that its undoing came from, Maurice Bishop not checking the elements inside of the revolution that were just jealous of him, and were also just too dogmatic with their approach in certain things. Now, I'll never stop reading about Amilcar Cabral. I pretty much feel like you can never have enough books about Amilcar Cabral. And this book is written by an Angolan. And it's just like a biography of him. To be honest, there's not really many biographies of him. Excuse me. And so I just decided that, hey, I got to get this and tap into it. So I'm going to get to this book for sure. Definitely got to get to this book. This is one of the important titles that I got to get to, because it's definitely probably gonna shed some light on other things that I didn't know about him when he was coming up, And this is the guy in which my father, fought under. So of course we have respect for him. And of course his ideas still resonate. And one thing about him is he was Cape Verdean. And so what he was doing, he was just pretty much pushing the fact that, that Cape Verdeans are Africans, and that Eurocentric mindset that unfortunately a lot have today was really not doing them any good, and was really a tool to divide and conquer. And he also mentions that the fact that, not only in Cape Verde, but like in Angola and Mozambique, there were mestizos as well with the same mindset. And he's like, that it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really do them any good as far as upward mobility as people. And so I also got this book. It's about Ogaden, a region in the Horn of Africa, which I guess you can say belongs to Somalia. There was a war which was fought, I think, in 1977. And I just want to get the history of that conflict, how it was started and what it was based off of, and get a better idea, of why it was fought. And so I'm going to tap into this book pretty soon as well. And then last but not least, I got this translated version called Futa al-Habasha, The Conquest of Abyssinia. And, I kind of don't like dealing with translations, especially when they come from I guess you can say Western people who, with their translations, they may have some bias. But I just got this one, and it's just in essence a history lesson about I guess there was a conquest in which was carried out by what is now known as Somalia against Ethiopia. But this is pre-colonial times. And I think that conquest was in response largely to the Ethiopians' expansionist ideas. Even before colonialism, they had these expansionist ideas, and so some people would respond back. They would respond to these expansionist ideas by, attacking back, and so, yeah. So this is just an update of a couple of new titles that I got. You know, I got so many books, and it's just hard. You know, you want to read them all. You want to read them right away. Sometimes you wish you can read like 5 books at a time, but it's not possible to do that. Read 5 books at a time. The only way that would be possible is if you rotate. You read one book one day, you read the other book another day, you read the other book. You will have to have a book per day, basically, in which I guess you read a chapter and you just rotate. But I don't know if you would get basically hold on to the information which you read if you do it that way. So at most, I just try to read 2 at a time, at most. You know, maybe 3. 3 is pushing it sometimes, though. 3 is definitely pushing it. But with that being said, I'm off to the gym. Got to get it in. You know what I mean? That's one thing that never stops. And yeah, man. But Fool is signing out. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments, and let me know what y'all are reading on the bottom in the comment section. And yeah, Njarama.